Today I'm going to be taking some of the grape juice that I recently created from the Concord grapes, and I'm going to be using my Shore Gel Pectin, and hopefully in a very little bit my jelly jars will be full of some grape jelly. I have exactly 5 cups of grape juice in my pot, my pan. If you follow the Shore Gel recipes, it calls for 5 cups of prepared juice for grape jelly and 7 cups of sugar. But before you add the sugar, next we're going to add our Shore Gel Pectin and a little bit of butter. If you've never made jelly and you don't know what pectin looks like, this is a view of it. And it's going to get added in to my juice. And because our fruit juices will foam when we make jelly, we always want to add some butter to reduce that foaming. And right now I'm going to get that pectin stirred really good. I just turned the heat on, and I will bring this to a full rolling boil before I add in my sugar. And members of my family swear by using the Domino brand granulated white sugar in making jelly. We haven't ever used any other sugars, so I just want to say, if you're using another sugar and that's been successful for you, that's awesome. But we use the Domino brand. I have my 7 cups of sugar measured out, which is what you want to do when you're making homemade jelly. You want to have it ready, because when your juice comes to a full boil, a rolling boil, you're going to quickly add that sugar, and hopefully soon after have some jelly. If you work with making jelly, you know that this is the way it looks right before it does come to a full rolling boil. I was retrieving my rings to put on my jars, so it's at the point where it's close to add the sugar. Let's give it a good stir. The aroma of the grapes is so heavenly when they're being made into juice, and when they're being made into jelly, it just is something that when you haven't canned a certain fruit or vegetable for a while, and then you go back to having your senses take in and soak in that fruit or vegetable, it's just wonderful. So we're going to try to get this to come to its full rolling boil. And now I'm going to add my 7 cups of sugar into this mixture on the stove. We want to stir it very well into the pectin and the juice and the butter. And then after it dissolves, it'll come back to a boil. And then that's when you're going to time it for a full minute. Making jelly is fairly easy. And I think I've helped so many people over the years make their jellies and jams that this is one of the most enjoyable things for me to do during canning season. So that sugar's getting dissolved very well. While my jelly mixture is returning to a full boil, I've gotten my jelly jars ready, because I'm very quickly going to use this ladle right here and ladle the jelly into the jars. And you can see that it's blending together very well, the sugar in with that juice and pectin mixture. While I'm returning the sugar that I've just added into this mixture to boil. I want to keep my wooden spoon in this as much to help it dissolve and to make some pretty decent jelly. So don't forget to keep stirring. Oh, this is at a full rolling boil, and so you immediately turn your heat down quickly, and then it's 12:55. I'm going to watch this for 1 minute exactly. So my minute has passed, and I'm going to take my juice off of the heat. I'm going to give this jelly a really good stir before I start ladling it into my jelly jars. It only had to boil for a minute, a rolling boil. So now it's time. You have to work very quickly to ladle it into all the jars. So here we go. One of the best ways to make things less messy is to set your jelly jar in another larger container. This is a little bowl that I use, and in goes my part juice, almost jelly mixture. It's actually really fun to make the juice and the jelly. And then of course it always tastes wonderful when you open a jar, and if you give it for gifts, people really cherish that too. So it looks like my grape jelly is gonna set and harden, and I was able to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 full jelly jars, and you can see by the color that it turned out fabulous. I reserved a little bit here in this bowl to try and sample when it sets a little bit more. And because I want to process my jelly and keep it preserved, I'm going to put it in a hot water bath for 10 minutes. And before I do that, I have to put all of my flats on my jars, which isn't difficult to do. Every grape jelly jar now has rings on it, and they're ready to be submerged into a hot water bath where they'll process for 10 minutes. And then that'll be the last thing I have to do with them. So it's been pretty productive. All my jars are in place. Holds exactly 7. And now the jars are immediately placed into this canner, and they're gonna come to a boil and process for exactly 10 minutes. And just for fun, let's taste our finished product, the grape jelly with a little peanut butter on saltine crackers. It's very good, and I'm glad I finally had the time to get the jelly made. And I'm thankful for all the people over the years that taught me about how to work with food.